But anyways, though, I'm gonna go ahead and transition over to the other point that we just made. So, also, and I think I'm gonna pull this up because I was actually just watching that, looking at it. I'm past that. Well, man, let me share my screen real quick. So, back to the part where DeMarcus was.
I don't remember that dress.
Well, I don't remember that suit either, Uptown.
Oh,
What
doing
have you
this
been up to,
scene
Jamie?
here.
What have you been doing all these years?
Boss, the new DJ's gonna start.
Wait, did he just call you boss?
I'm gonna do some little pause action because YouTube, they love hating. Matter of fact, let me just pop in some of my stuff so they can just leave me alone with all that hating they be doing. Give me a second. Time my camera on. Yeah, my hair out right now, ugly ass niggas. Don't y'all say that. There we go. Damn, my internet's shitty right now. Damn. Anyways, back to it.
I own this place. Canto said he needs to talk to you now. All right. Sorry, I got it.
You got a nightclub to run. I get it.
Right here, the outside.
Starts in a few minutes, and I'm
Look, like, why would you be this slick around? My opinion.
I'll call you.
And I'm gonna tell y'all why. It's a little bit unrealistic because it's unrealistic because most black women that I know, especially that's from the hood, would have approached her ass. Like they would have just sat there, especially when you got a man like that, you know what I'm saying? A provider, strong, the nigga top of the game and stuff like that. Especially hood niggas, like he the top of the food chain of hood niggas, and you the top of the food chain of hood females. They ain't finna be just sitting there and watch no girl potentially take her man. Like she would have approached her, be like, "Hey, what's this?" Flashed her ring on her, and that would have changed the entire dynamic. You know what I'm saying? Of how Angela seen this thing. Now y'all can correct me if y'all disagree, but in my opinion, the type of woman that it seemed like Angela was, that if Tasha would have approached her right there in front of her and let her know where she stand, and she would have been like, "Look, that's my man, this my husband," and stuff like that. Who are you? And let her know. I think Angela would have backed out. She could have even potentially stopped him before he even got her number. Now as the type of guy Ghost is, if he really wanted to reach out to her, he would have found her, of course. But I'm just saying it definitely would have changed things. Angela would have been giving Ghost a lot of pushback. But like, you got a wife, like she knows about it, she ain't with it. So to me, that was another major factor in the fall of the Ghost and Tasha, relationship. Tasha made a huge mistake just standing around watching this shit when you could have just intervened. So y'all can let me know what are y'all thoughts on that. But I always felt that way when it came to that situation. Let me see, catch up on some of these comments I missed. Lou not Ghost father, cool. Trey really fought that dude over being called African. Imagine if Raising Canaan took out James St. Patrick's father. Oh, RSK's. Not that you were saying that short for Raising Canaan. But yeah. I mean, I can't see him being cool with the RSKs like that if that was the case. I don't know. But I mean, that would be crazy. I can see that Kanan paid them off to do it to get closer to Ghost. Okay. So basically what you're saying, Hezekiah, is that Ghost paid Kanan paid the RSKs to go after Ghost's father to kind of flip him. It would be karma if this exact same event happened to Tariq. Absolutely. I think that Jukebox could have manipulated Ghost, James Ghost St. Patrick, and Tommy to take out Breeze because she wasn't fond of Breeze. I don't know. I want to say, I don't know. Jukebox may, I kind of want to think Jukebox may not even been in the picture during that time. But who knows? Tasha acted like a white. Yeah, exactly. They had Tasha acting like a white woman right there. A white woman would have probably sat there, especially let's say if the girl that her man was talking to was a black woman and she was a little afraid. Yeah, maybe a white woman would have did that. But the type of woman that they were portraying Tasha to be, I just can't see her, sitting there and letting that shit happen like that. Ain't no woman, especially black, not gonna sit there. She definitely would have come over like, who the F is this? Exactly. She would have been like Joy. She would have been like Joy from Friday on his ass. Shit. Who the fuck is that? Would have pulled up just like that on his ass. And would have scared Angela ass out. And Tasha would have been in the right to show the F out at that moment. Right. You got to protect what's yours. Here's the thing. Angela knew in the real story Ghost was married and still wanted the nigga. What are you talking about, nigga? All right. So that is our first topic. I mean, we can get a couple more follow-up questions on this and shit like that. But I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next one. If everybody else is done with the Tasha and Ghost situation, we're about to transitioning over to Pink Sneakers and the damage she did in this first season. And of course, this is a huge hypothetical because obviously the storyline is about Ghost. And if Ghost was the guy taken out this early, it would have changed everything. But anyways, so let's go ahead and transition over to Pink Sneakers. Now, as we know, matter of fact, what does anybody know what Pink Sneakers? If anybody know, maybe DeMarcus does. What was Pink Sneakers' real? Like, what was her name on the show? Because I only know her as Pink Sneakers. But anyways, she took out your boy Annabelle. She took out. She damn near took out Juliana. She tried to take out that other dude. I forgot his name. That she was chasing with the gun. She shot Holly while trying to shoot Ghost. She was turning up that first season. She stabbed Ruiz. But here is the golden topic of discussion. This right here, where she's pointing the gun inside of Club 2. What if she actually shot an unalived Ghost right here in this scene? how would the power storyline have played out if she was successful here? You said Pink Sneaker should have been Angela because she looked better. Yeah, Pink Sneaker was nice looking, but maybe it was the acting style though. I mean, it's more than just the looks. Maybe she didn't have that charisma they was looking for it. You know, they said I think didn't they? I think who did they say one for the role of Angela as well? Was it? Oh yeah, Blanca Rodriguez. She went for the role of Angela, but ended up getting cast as Blanca. But anyways, imagine if Pink Sneakers would have taken out Angela in Miami. That would have wow, yeah, that would have changed a lot of shit. I would say if that happened, Ghost absolutely would have hunted her down and took her out. But that would have been what would have ended up happening is I think Ghost ultimately would have went back to Tasha. And, Tariq never would have turned out to be the way he got turned out, maybe. Because, even if Kanan tried to flip him, I don't think Kanan would have been as successful if, his parents were still together. Pink Sneakers is what Effie in book 2 should have been. Why Effie's so useless. His name was Buzo, or however you spell it. Brazo. Yeah, it was Brazo or something like that. I get you. Yeah, I remember him. Kanan would have been happy. Pink Sneakers' name was Marilla? Really? Well, there y'all have it, people. I'm pretty sure the rest of y'all didn't know that either. But anyways, y'all still, the topic at hand is how would the storyline have played out? I'll go ahead and share mine if she was successful with this. So if she would have took out Ghost, Tommy, first and foremost, Tommy would have went ape shit. Like Tommy would have went berserk trying to find out who did it. He would have found that bitch dead. And he would have canceled Christmas, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, New Year's Eve. He would cancel everything on her head, her whole family. Like Tommy would have absolutely have guided them. Like I have no doubts in my mind. Tommy, Julio, of course, Tasha would have been in on it too. Would have gotten together and they would have hunted her down and found her. So that would have led Tasha to be a single mother now, a widow. And it also, but keep in mind, that was part of Kanan's original plan. So let's just say it did play out like that. And now Kanan is out of jail. Now he looked like he's showing up as just the guy that he's gonna be remorseful, like, dang man, G taken out. He would have played it. He would have played it nice with Tommy, learned the system because Tommy probably wouldn't have figured it out that Kanan was the one behind all those hits. Me personally, just don't see Kanan finding out about that. And keep in mind, Roller's already gone. Because I could see maybe if this would have happened and Roller was still alive, it seemed like Roller was kind of on the smarter side. Because keep this in mind, when Ghost took out Roller already knew that it was Kanan responsible for the reason he was there and pointed him in towards his direction. So that lets me know Roller was kind of strategic and he was able to calculate things like that. So, but the thing is, Roller was gone. So I don't think nobody else in the organization was smart enough except maybe Tasha. Tasha maybe would have figured it out too, and she would have had to convince Tommy that it was Kanan. So the question is, with all of that I just said, what do you think Kanan would have been able to be successful with getting out of prison and then later on, learning the business from Tommy and clip his cracker ass and run the whole thing? Those are his words. A quote from Kanan Stark himself. But now that Ghost alive, he would have been at war with Tommy within a week. I think he said it within a week. But anyways, do y'all think Kanan would have been successful if she was successful at taking him out right here, and would have been able to successfully take over the business and become Lobo's new distributor, or would it have played out differently? What if Kanan would have knew who Angela was and kidnapped her to get Ghost's head? That's another good topic for another one. Because that is a play he could have done. Because I swear you're the only one that would have known Pink Sneakers. I swear he's the only one that knows that name. That woman in the background saw Pink Sneakers pull out her gun and didn't say nothing. That's because she background, nigga. She can't say that. But right, in a real scenario, she probably would have started screaming. If Pink Sneakers killed Ghost, then Tasha would have had to come clean about setting out Kanan, and Tommy damn near wiped out half of Miami. Because I actually like side characters, because the side characters move the storyline forward. Okay. What if Sean had listened to Ghost's advice and left New York? That's a good one, support. For real. I got to write that down, too. That's a good one. But, his life would have been spared. The thing is would Tasha have actually went with her? But that's going to be another discussion. I'm not going to try to squeeze that one into this live. But that's actually a really good one. Roller figured it out. Roller probably knew Ghost set up Kanan in the first place. It's possible. Maybe Roller did know that. I would have loved if Pink Sneakers would have taken out Liliana. Why? I think it would have played out different, to be honest. Lobos didn't like Tommy, so I doubt Kanan would have been able to get close to Lobos at that point. That is true, as a guy, but at the same time, let's be real. I think the reason why he didn't like he didn't like Tommy, is because Tommy wasn't smart like that. Like Tommy was too emotional. He fed off his emotions too much. So I think if he would have, Kanan would have approached him. Kanan would have came to him with a plan. Like he wouldn't have just came empty-handed. He would have had a whole layout of how things would have worked. Because keep in mind, Kanan is the one that taught, along with Breeze, of course. Now we have yet to see what Breeze taught Ghost and Tommy. But, along with Breeze, Kanan is the one who taught Ghost what he knows. So he's smart enough to be able to maybe possibly work with Lobo. So I think that's possible. But I don't know, with him showing up so fast after, and I don't know, y'all, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like, at least in y'all opinion, if you disagree, but it seems like to me that Lobos seems like to be the type that rewards loyalty. Like he's kind of like, he liked Ghost, because you remember when Ruiz tried to make a pitch to him, he said no to him. And with that being said, and let's say Lobo saw that Kanan did some shady shit, in order to try to take over. Lobos may would have flipped the script on him and took him out because he felt like he couldn't trust him. Because remember what he said, the moment he detect disloyalty, he cut it out like a cancer. Now, Jason Mitchell, on the other hand, he's grimy like that. Because when, Kanan made a play behind Tommy's back, he didn't give a damn. Kanan and Pink Sneakers. Hold up. Kanan and Pink Sneakers is more dangerous than Tommy and Liliana. Huh. Is that? I don't know about that. That's up for debate. Tasha was texting Sean and getting her bags ready while Sean went to get back Kanan, to give back Kanan his gun. Yeah, she was getting her bags packed, sure. But the thing is a lot of times women may think they want something, and then later on she missed their lifestyle. She may would have came back. I mean, just say it. It's like Ghost told her. I mean, you can go off with Sean and live on the salary of a high school basketball coach. Now, let's be real. The type of girl that Tasha was, she wouldn't last long with that. She would have been eventually be like, look, Sean, I can't do this. She would have left his ass. I guarantee you. She would have had, it would have been cool for maybe 3 months at the most. And she would have went and found somebody else. Or tried to go back to Ghost. One of the two would have happened. Claudia would have never taken out Pink Sneakers. Why are we bringing up Claudia? I'm confused. What I missed? With all of this, we didn't even mention Dre's role in Kanan's whole plan in the first place. Well, the reason why I didn't mention Dre is because this is kind of more so dealing with season 1. And Dre wasn't in season 1. Like Pink Sneakers didn't last very long in season 2. But yeah, because I don't think that would have been part of his. Let me see. Would I think? I guess so. That probably was still would have been the same plan. So, if that was the case, I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it still would have stayed the same. Dre probably would have been his right hand man, and Kanan would have tried to make a play. But eventually, I think if that was the play out, eventually Dre would have tried to, Dre would have tried to take out Kanan because, he's ambitious and he would have got tired of the type of moves that Kanan was doing, always trying to boss him around and all this shit. He would eventually try to make a play on it. I think Breeze will be the combination of Ghost and Tommy. Got book smart and swag like Ghost, ready to crash out and get wild like Tommy. I actually think you hitting it right on the nail. Support. I think that's exactly what his character is going to be like. Judging by just the little short clip that we got of Breeze, I think that will be how he's going to be. I agree. Lobos would be suspicious of Kanan as he was of Tommy telling Ghost things like Tommy is holding you back. Yeah, I think it's a possibility Lobos wouldn't have went with his plan like that. But I don't know. It would have been very interesting to see that. Yeah, exactly. Jason only cared about the money. Lobos actually cared, about relationships to a degree, I think. Pink Sneakers is the Puerto Rican Monet. I don't know if I can see that comparison, but okay. Is a reason Ghost ain't lead Tasha no money, lead Tasha no money, and that's exactly why. He knew how she was. Hey, we're gonna have another topic. I think that'll make a good one because I'm I might say something that y'all might not disagree with. Who knows? I might slide that in if we have time on this on here. So, all right. So to it. Back to the comments. Tasha, Tasha did a lot of shit that played an detriment part to the story, like messing with Sean in the first place, and if she didn't involve Tariq into taking out Kanan, diving him deeper into the streets. Yeah, Tasha did some. She definitely did some damage, but the part that we kind of discussed was what basically was the cause of the fall of their relationship and their marriage. Their marriage was already done pretty much about time. You know, she used Tariq to take out Kanan. Imagine this in the real story. We know Tariq never found out about Tasha and Sean. What if Raina found out about Sean and Tasha and she hated Tasha while Tariq hated Ghost? Hey, you own one right tonight, support. That would be good too. That would be very interesting. I guess I'll slide. You know what? I'm gonna actually slide that into the next topic because the next topic is talking about Juke taking out Raina. All right. I only brought up Dre because he kind of was the reason that Kanan even was about to get close to Lobos. Yeah, but keep in mind though, that's only because they had to go another route because Ghost was still alive. If Ghost was already dead, then he would have been able to easily probably play Tommy and get close to Lobos because Tommy would have been next in line, and Tommy more than likely would have just brought Kanan to Lobos. Would have introduced him as his number, his number two, and brought him along, and then Kanan would have executed his plan. Well, Ghost told Angela early in the show that him and Tasha marriage been going south before Angela entered the picture. Yeah, true, Hezekiah, and that's something that I thought about as well. But I will say this: it's probably not nothing that was so big that he actually would have, went through with trying to get rid of her. If probably some of the reasons that he was talking about, that their marriage was falling apart, was her being money hungry and only focused on the drug game, not seeing the bigger picture. I'm pretty sure a lot of what he was talking about was that. So if she would have just played along and decided to, hey, let's just do this, legit stuff, maybe that would have changed things. Hopefully in Origins we get to see what actually was the start of that. Absolutely, they better show us that. I'm pretty sure they will, but they better. Like if they don't, I'm going to be very disappointed. Hey, it's crazy that you bring up Grandma Estelle, DeMarcus, because see, that's another topic I was talking about earlier, maybe earlier today or yesterday with somebody. My girl actually, that Tasha messed up by not listening to her mom, because she had the right idea. And it goes to say that, a lot of times how single women's best friends, when you married or in a serious relationship, having single best friends is always, it always gonna turn out bad because well, not always, but most of the time, because a lot of the times they're gonna be giving you a terrible advice. Like for instance, BMF right now. What's the mom's name on BMF? Lucia. Lucia right now, the reason why she pawned her wedding ring, trying to get Charles out of the house and all that bull crap is because she got a so-called friend that's in her ear right now telling her, to get rid of him. And pretty much Lakeisha was doing the same thing with Tasha. But Grandma Estelle was like, no, you ain't gonna, more than likely, you ain't gonna find nobody like Ghost again. So you need to be trying to make your marriage work. So what, the nigga cheated and stuff. Like, he looks like he wants to come back home. You need to be trying to make that shit work with him. But nope. She was so in her feelings. She was talking about, I'm going to get even. And then she later on figured out he always wins. But anyways, what if Tariq shooting Ghost would have made more sense and justifiable if Ghost actually abused Tasha, or in season 5 snapped on Tariq and told him he wished he died instead of Raina? That would have helped it for sure, because I still to this day think that the writing, the story development of that character of Tariq wasn't strong enough to have him want his father dead by the end of the season. Like, they definitely didn't write that good enough. All right, so if Pink Sneakers actually killed Ruiz, who do you think Kanan would have had to replace him to run Lobo's business? Okay. So you're saying if Kanan's out now and he needs somebody to take over the Soldados, right? I mean, Pancho just would have been next in line. But I'm pretty sure he just would have, inherited the throne after that. And then Pancho, Kanan probably would have found out that Pancho was the one that's the next in line. He just would have made an alliance with him. Estelle is Lucia, a cousin in BMF. Really? I don't even remember that shit. Raising Kanan seems to fix that story with Kanan and Rock. At least we see why Kanan hates Rock. Facts. They did a good job at doing it. But Power, they definitely dropped the bag. They fumbled the bag hard on Tariq and Ghost.